Hello Fly Tyers, welcome to another episode with Aaron at the Fly Desk. Today we're going to be tying a large version of a prince nymph. We have a lake here in Utah that for some reason the fish isoft love large prince nymphs with long tails. I don't know why. I haven't used a prince nymph a lot when I'm fishing. It's an attractor nymph fly that has been around for a long time, but hasn't always been my fly of choice, except for on this one lake. The fish absolutely love it, especially the big fish. So with that, I'm going to show you my rendition of a prince nymph. Normally a prince nymph is tied with peacock herl. I have found that I like to use dubbing in place of my peacock herl, just because the fly stays together so much better. And so with that, we'll go ahead and get started. With the prince nymph, you use the tail. For the tail, you use these, they're called goose biots, and you can buy them at any place where fly tying materials are sold. So we'll go ahead and start with that. We'll get our thread on our hook, and we'll go all the way back. I'm using a Daiichi 1270 hook on this. It's called the curved nymph hook. You can see the little bend in the hook there. And we'll take our goose biots, and I'll bend it over, get a couple out, and then to create the V look on a nymph, you simply turn one of the biots over so the bend is opposite the other. And then what I do is I split that over my hook and start to wrap. So now you can see I've got a nice V bend for my nymph. The next thing we will do is we're going to put some gold wire on this one. If I'm using a gold bead, I always use gold wire. If I'm using a copper bead, I'll use copper wire. So with my wire, I'm going to be tying quite a few of these. One trick I found is to cut a long chunk of wire if I'm going to be tying multiple flies, because your wire gets eaten up by however many times you cut it. So if you have a nice big long piece, you can tie multiple flies with that and not have to cut it so much. So I'll put it right on the side of my hook, about to the point where our thorax is going to be on the nymph. And oh, rookie mistake, I hit that eye of the hook and pop my thread, but able to save it good. Okay, now what we will do is I've actually got two tones of peacock dubbing. I have black and then just a regular peacock, and so I'll be using the lighter tone for my body. Simply just wind it on there. And then what we'll do is bring our wire through. Just like so. Okay. Now we've got that tied off good. Now I'm going to use a little bit of this darker peacock dubbing and put on the front. Okay, and there we have it to this point. The next thing we do on a Prince Nymph is we're going to put some brown hackle on. I really like this brown grizzly hackle. I like the way it looks. So we're going to cut a little bit of this off. And we'll put it right here in front. Don't need a lot of hackle on this. Usually 3 or 4 wraps is sufficient. And then I wrap my thread back through the hackle a few times and then pull it back. That way it kind of flows back again that way. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some white goose biots. These will be the wings of the fly. And these, we get them even, and then I just overlap them like that. Cut off the excess. And then I just kind of position it however I want my wings to look. That's pretty close. Now what I'm going to do is, because I have this bead right here, I like to put some super glue on before I wrap everything together. And the reason is I want that bead to stay stationary no matter how many fish I catch, because what happens a lot of times is those beads will start spinning on you like that. And then I put a little tiny bit of dubbing on right here at the end. Just over the top of that super glue, like so. And then we'll pull out our whip finisher. Okay, normally on a Prince Nymph, you wouldn't have your wings quite this long. You'd usually go about halfway down the hook. But on this lake, they like long tails, long wings, so you can kind of see how it looks there. Still probably need to trim a little bit of that dubbing off or just pull it out. But that'll be a lot stronger than your traditional Prince Nymph because this peacock curl won't come unraveled when the fish are biting down on it. Dubbing stays on a lot better than peacock curl. So hope you've enjoyed this video of my rendition of a Prince Nymph, and I highly recommend tying these and trying these. So thanks for watching.